All right, that's all I have for you. We are going to have Legina come up. She is going to be introducing our next panel segment that's going to be talking about AI, tech, music, and audio. And this panel is sponsored by one of her other companies, LaRae Infinity Media. So clap it up for Miss Legina.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm really excited about this panel. So LaRae Infinity Media, we're doing a two-part panel around AI and tech. And I've met all these gentlemen, either in person or virtual. So y'all come on up and we're going to get started. I'm going to have them introduce themselves. And as y'all are coming up, I'll just talk more about why we're doing this panel. Because in a time of AI... Oh, yeah. In a time of AI and tech and everything going on, what does that mean in the audio spaces? What does that mean for music? How does that challenge our intellectual property and everything else? So we'll just start with you, Derek. Talk about who you are and your company, and then we'll just dive into questions. If you have a question, we have beautiful note cards and pens from Pearland Innovation Hub, who is one of the US Space's physical partners. So you can just write your questions on the note cards, and we will integrate them into the conversation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Derek McKinney. I'm the CEO of a record company called Loud Music. Excuse my voice, I'm talking a lot. Loud stands for Live Out Your Dreams. Manage the Houston artist Lil Flip. We have a few other indie artists on our label, Skyra Bliss, Tim Ned, Cody Blake, Chris Murdo. We do a music festival called Loud Fest, which just so happens to be Saturday. Personally, I did the social media marketing for the PGA Golf Tour for about 5 years. I handle Verizon's 5G music activations. So when there's like a Verizon, we'll take Verizon's business-to-business clients to SoFi Stadium in LA and do a concert with CeeLo Green. So we do those type of things. A lot of marketing and branding. The Black Men's Wellness Walk, I do the marketing and PR for it. Hispanic Heritage Festival in Houston, the Make Music Day Festival for the city of Houston. So I'm the wizard behind the curtains on those events as well.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Doug Franklin, mostly known as Dr. Doug around the tech space. I am the chief marketing officer, chief strategy officer of a small app company called Fresh Tech Solutions, where we build software. Anything you can think of, we can build. But my passion is the co-founding work that I do with Deck Launch. So what we do is we help you build your concepts from idea to execution. We help you go ahead and raise money. We try to find the best ways for you to be able to pitch your business. And so we're always trying to put our clients into a bunch of pitch competitions and things of that nature. Some of our clients that you've probably seen here in the Houston area, Church Space, that recently received about $1.5 million and just moved to Detroit. Equilibrity, who does amazing work for the Black and Latino community. Those are some of our favorites, among others. We also are partnered with the Canon, the Ion, and for the doctor side as well. Teach at National University and also locally here at the University of St. Thomas. Happy to be here, and we will be here from the end of this panel till about 4:00. So if you have any ideas that you want to go through about your business, anything that we could do to help, we will be here. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks for your time.
Man, y'all killing it already. I'm just waking up. I'm Reggie Davis. In the daytime, I'm a cloud engineer for Australian-based cybersecurity startup. So building infrastructure, working with data, all the things, that's my thing. It's my bag. But then in the nighttime, when I become Batman, I'm a co-founder of Tech for the Culture. We do monthly networking events, bringing Black and brown people together. And we just continue to love, building the community out in tech. And so I always love talking about technology. So short and simple for me, so.
That Batman was tough. How you doing? My name is Luke Cadet. I'm the founder and owner of Bound2 Audio, an audiobook platform and production company curated for Black and brown community, where we're trying to enlighten the world through stories. We have partnerships with over 10 plus university presses. We have partnerships with 2 of the major publishing companies as Hachette, as well as Simon & Schuster. Blackstone Publishing is one of our partners that we're working on, as well as HarperCollins and all the majors. So we're getting thousands of books, audiobooks per day. And again, we're trying to curate a space where our stories are being told, our narratives being told, and more importantly, our voices are empowered and amplify these stories. I'm here today to talk about a lot of this amazing conversation. I have a background in technology. By day, I'm a project manager. At night, we're trying to change the world and impact our diaspora. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So raise your hand if y'all knew at least one of these companies was based out of Houston. Yeah. So I think this is like the important thing about TUS House is because we have so many technological things going on in this city and they're flying under the radar. Moreover, we have Black people running tech in Houston and it's going under the radar. So I think it's one of those things that it's worth not only noting, but starting to talk about because conscious consuming is one of those things. So let's dive into representation and gaps. You remember during COVID when all of the TikTok kids were going viral and the Black kid would dance and the white kid would get the money. And so the Black kids started getting on TikTok and just standing there with the music and all of y'all remember that? So how does that play into what we're talking about with music and audio? And yeah, everybody's like, Derek, because this actual panel came from a conversation when I first met Derek and we were talking about how AI has changed the music industry. There's a music video out now with a AI component. So hit a little bit on that, and then I'd love to come over to you, Luke, to talk about the voice part of it.
So the views that are expressed in this conversation are that of me personally. It does not reflect on these fine, great people here.
We're going to be arguing.
So in starting with the TikTok piece, I feel like TikTok is a safe space for white people to be Black. And I think that's the worst part about TikTok. I think they have watered down our culture tremendously. And so when a lot of these content creators are stealing down to our recipes, they did not use paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder until TikTok. It's so many things that I feel like TikTok has been one of the greatest enemies to Black culture. And there are a few people who are Black. Well, I went viral. I made money. They will always allow a few to slip through the cracks. That is by design. It is not, you didn't go viral. So many years ago, the TV show Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they had a leak of a sex tape with Mimi and Nico. There was stars on that show. There was no leak. I was one of 3 people paid to make it go viral. The song that went with the sex tape, I'm the person who put it on iTunes. But to the world, it was a viral moment. And it's just, there's no such thing as going viral. It is all paid for. So while we're thinking we're doing these things with the hopes of having that viral moment, that viral dance, it's not. They saw the Black kid do the viral dance and say, hey, this white content creator, we're going to pay you. How do you think all of these cheer groups learn this? And you'll see all the Ivy League and PWI cheer and dance teams doing a full dance routine halftime show. And it's all TikTok moves that Black creators created. So it's not an accident. It's not a viral moment. It is by design. And that's my piece on TikTok.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
I mean, like Bring It On. That's what I think of. You remember Bring It On?
That's exactly what it is.
They stole it. So I think about that. And that's a big piece. I'm not going to pay you, but you can leak this to the world later.
Yeah, we'll leak it.
Yeah. So you could definitely do that. No, so the other piece is to Luke, when we think about that and, break down your business a little bit more, because I know we had a conversation about it, and he's like in the audiobook spaces. And so when you're thinking about the fantasy novels and all the stuff, because when I read books, they're audio. And sometimes we were talking and I noticed that like it'll be a Black author and the voice that's narrating is not a Black voice. And even the mimicking of our voice and our acumen, all that stuff, it's very uncomfortable. So,
no, for sure. So to kind of piggyback on, and thank you for starting off that way, by the way, because I'm like, we on some Blackish. But in the audiobook space, like I was telling Legina that, because of AI, your voice is now having to be thought of as your IP, right? In the past, that wasn't a thought. Right, it's your voice. But now with AI and everything like that, that is something to really consider. And in terms of the voices, publishing in general is 77% white, majority of our books that are being pushed out, 77% are white authors. In fact, as I went through the Excel spreadsheets that I got from Macmillan and going through their Excel spreadsheet, I'm like, damn, there's mad white people on this. It's like black, brown, Asian, the subgroup of books that I saw compared to the white, I was like, yo, this is crazy. You got like 7,000 books, but only like 300 of them are POC authors. That's nuts. That's a problem. And so what I also found out talking to some of the VPs in the industry, as well as some of the authors, is that unless you're like one of the name brand authors, you don't really have a say-so in the production process. And so if you're in an industry where it's predominantly white, in fact, I was just speaking to Simon & Schuster, and their diversity equity person is a white trans woman. And I'm like, interesting. I'm thinking I'm gonna talk to somebody black or brown or something. I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool. But if you don't have people in these spaces that actually are from your community, that are from where you're from, to actually give feedback on some of the stuff, that's how you get what you're talking about, Legina, where you have a black author, but you have a white voice. And oftentimes, unless they're a name brand author or someone that has some clout, they're not gonna have any say-so in the production process. And some of these authors, they don't even know that their audiobook is even out. Some of them, I was like, hey, your audiobook, oh, I got an audiobook out? I'm like, how did you not know that? Right?
So they're not getting paid for it?
They're getting paid, but, well, some of them are getting paid. It depends. It depends on how their contract is set up. And so, I've even produced titles, right? For, like I said, we have a lot of partnerships with university presses. Professor Horn here at University of Houston, he came to one of our demos last year. And that was the first time he realized that we produced one of his audiobooks. And he was like, oh, you guys want to? And I'm like, they didn't tell you? That's crazy. And so that's a lot of the things that we're noticing. And with AI, I think it's going to get worse, in my opinion, because as we're seeing now with this whole DEI stuff, we're typically the ones that are booted out first. And with AI giving you the opportunity, in fact, I just saw a reel just this morning or yesterday that some AI was dissing Nicki Minaj. I'm like, what is happening right now? What is going on? And so now white people not only taking the culture, which they have been doing historically, but now you're having the capacity to even take our voices and our likeness, right? And so what do I need to hire a black person for when I can use a black AI voice?
It's digital blackface. That's what I've been telling people in the music industry about the past 3-4 years, is literally digital blackface. A lot of the really popular social media accounts, like the one Daquan and a few others, they're not black people running those accounts. They're owned by agencies. Like I think Warner Brothers bought the Daquan account for like $7 million. So when we are reposting and sharing memes, oh, that's funny, that's culture.
It's almost like they're making fun of us.
And we're spreading it for them. So when we become the vehicle that delivers it to our community, it desensitizes them to it. Like, oh, but you laughed at it, so now I can say it more. And
like N-word permission.
Right. And like what just registered to me what you said about if they didn't know the audiobooks. It's no different than the music industry. An artist can be playing my artist manager was playing a video game, and we did not know his song was in MLB 24. We was like, okay, so we had to do some research, do some digging, and make sure, okay, our royalty statements match up with this payment. It's like we shouldn't have to do all of that research. Let us know where our property is being used. So I can see how once you give exploitation rights or the master rights to a distributor or a publisher, it's no different than us giving our stuff to Universal or Sony to where they can place it wherever they want and utilize it to exploit the product to generate revenue. But we don't know where it's at all times, so we can monitor and track it.
Yeah. So I talk a lot about tech innovation, but the companies that support it. So I would say here at the US space, about 85% of the companies aren't tech companies, but we support those quick ROI companies with CEO mindset, UX design. We have lawyers, all those things. And so when I think about support in this realm, because, we're not going too dark, but this is the real stuff, right? Like when we're talking about music and audio, these are real things, the appropriation of our culture. But I feel like y'all two in the middle are solutions-driven people. Reginald, I saw your your face when he was talking about that 77%. And you're like, well, dang. But you have created a group where, you know, we can get together, we can meet, we can understand tech. And then Doug, on the other hand, like we were talking and even being able to take our artistry and turn it into something that can be financially backed and visible. So I would love for y'all to talk about the solutions that come with that, especially when you're talking about innovation versus like imitation. Mm-hmm.
Man, you got it. Yeah, so
I guess.
I don't want to nerd out too much.
Nerd out.
Oh no!
Nerd
This
out. You're in a room of
great
nerds.
place to go down the rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
please do dive.
So the best way that I can say. So first, there is no replacement of Black talent. So that's number one. But as somebody who works in the innovation space, and I'm also trying to help Black talent scale, AI could be somewhat beneficial, even though I don't necessarily agree with it, and I can say that. We have a client who wants to do a TV show and needs voiceover work. Can't afford the voices. So there's an opportunity there for people to scale using AI. The place where the rubber hits the road gets into what we were just talking about is actually just figuring out, well, morally, where do we get a chance to keep our Black voices within our community, which Daquan is the best example of saying, nah, it ain't really that thing. But there are opportunities. So my favorite example is King Wallonius. He's been killing the game. BBL Drizzy comes out, Metro Boomin samples it, then Drake, being made fun of, uses the sample in a Sexy Red song. Brother gets paid.
Great song.
Great. Oh, fantastic. If you haven't heard the original BBL Drizzy, it's actually a fantastic soul song. But there is, but back to my point, the biggest thing that I think is this is an opportunity for Black creatives to also scale, even though it could potentially marginalize what we do. So I guess in a next prompt, I'll try to figure out how we talk about closing that divide, because that is the really scary thing. Is like we need opportunities for us to be able to rise up, but at the same time, we can't short ourselves. And that's what we see a lot when we look at, especially when we look at social media. You got these boys dancing and not making a single dollar, and then it pops up somewhere else. So, but that's where I stand right now, just trying to figure out the best way to help people innovate, but also not sell themselves short.
Man, really good points. Good points. It's so interesting. It's a lot of socio technical and ethical implications when we talk about AI. Me being an engineer, I'm thinking zeros and ones, right? So I don't necessarily get caught up in always the morality and the ethics of it. I look at the value stream, right, that's being produced. And I think this is a really amazing time for Black people, to be honest with you, to leverage a technology that's really leveling the playing field in regards to like the approach to something, right? As an engineer, like I use AI every day in my work, whether I'm talking to it to design out systems or to bounce ideas off of it for, hey, I want to design out a systems that's going to scale ABC, XYZ way. Can you know, I bounce ideas off of it. But a lot of it comes from the mindset that I had to adopt as an engineer to think critically about things. And I think that's the thing that a lot of us miss. This is why the social media conversation is so interesting, because I feel as if the critical thinking aspect of how we look at life has been lost due to social media. And in order for us to really because social media innately is not a bad thing, right? It's not a lot of these things are not innately bad things. It's the way that we use them that makes them bad. And so I think if anything, this is actually an opportune time for us to get back, because, for example, all of these directors and VPs and executives that work at these big tech companies, they're not sending their kids to schools with crazy technology in the latest MacBooks. They're sending their kids to school where they got to read books the old school way, where they got to do math the old school way. They have to actually write out their thoughts. This is how they're teaching their kids now, because they understand the implications of what technology does to the brain. And so as a result, like Black people being where we're at, typically at the bottom of the totem pole, a lot of times we always look at that as a disadvantage versus seeing it as an advantage. One of the most amazing things I ever seen was when I went to Nigeria to visit my family. And, you know, my family from the village, like we in the sticks, like the sticks. And I'll never forget, man, they had this power adapter for like an Xbox that was broke. And they wanted to play games so bad. Mind you, if I could describe Nigeria is such an interesting country because it's like literally going back 20, 30 years ago, like from a technology standpoint. They don't have the modern innovations that we have here. I saw my cousin disassemble this power adapter, figure out how to rewire it, and actually get it working again. And just when I saw that ingenuity, I'm like, there's so much untapped potential here, and we don't recognize it because a lot of times we're thinking that, oh, well, I need the latest computer, I need the latest this, or I need the latest that in order to keep up with the Joneses. And truth be told,
level.
exactly.
Surface level. And
being an engineer and leading teams and being a technical lead and being in these rooms, truth be told, these people don't know what the fuck going on. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like a lot of times I get gaslit because I can actually say A, B, C, X, Y, Z, right? And I get gaslit into saying that that's wrong, only to find out 6 months later that that was right. And only for somebody else to come and take the idea.
And get a raise.
Exactly. So, you know, it's one of those things where those things are going to continue to happen. But I believe where we have to change in this whole AI conversation and narrative is how we leverage the tool. If you take the critical thinking and you marry it with the tool, you get magic. But if you just take whatever you want and you just say, hey, go make it for me, or hey, go do it for me, then it's going to completely, you right back to the social media stuff. Like you just brain right? You know what I'm saying? So it's all about how we leverage the tool. If we continue to leverage the tools inappropriately, we're going to continue to end up in the same spaces. But if we learn how to leverage the tools and the information in a way that we can amplify our ingenuity, I think we're in a way better space than what we would have been if it was the way that it has been for the last 20, 30, whatever years.
Yeah, I'm going to add this in because I think this goes with the conversation. How can we, this is from the audience, no name. I know who it is though, but how can we use AI to help us monetize our ideas without harming the culture? So I think that goes into what you're talking about.
And that goes to exactly right what I was going to say. So you said something that was phenomenal and amazing, what I've been saying to artists in the music industry, the critical thinking piece, figuring out how it works. We're only getting the creative side. They only talk to the Black creative, to where the white guy is learning how to do market research, using this to scale, using this to figure out your target demographic, using this to run your ad set. But the Black creative is being told, use this to change your hair color. Use this to give the lady the bigger butt. Use this to give him the abs. Use this to give him the dreads. So we're getting two different AI conversations. Yep. The Black creatives are only being talked to, not the Black executives. The Black creatives have to become their own executive and take that engineering approach and get to the back office of it to learn how to monetize, because they figured it out. They figured that out before they even gave it to us.
Some of it was handed to them, though. So when you even talk about that, because when you're in the conversation, you know, this goes back to us as business owners. I always say that we're handed this like rule book on how business works and everything. And it's like, do this, do this, do this, learn this, say this, move this around. And I talked to my white male millennial mentor, and he's like, no, you don't have to do that. He's like, come over here, watch this, meet this person, and then here you go. Yeah. And, you know, because that's the conversation I said, never put me in a room where I'm doing a $5,000 pitch competition. No disrespect, because we have one tonight. That's my guilty plug. But, you know, but that's real money in quick time versus like handing over all your financials, your mama's business, and then never getting feedback or anything like that. So when I think about that, and we're talking about this tech and AI and music and sound integration, it's really that mindset piece around turning this into a business and understanding it from the foundational level.
And we don't get that. I think that's the part that, for me, what I've experienced, I'm 45. I've been in the music business for 22, 23 years now. And one thing that I've consistently seen is we only get the bells and whistles and diamonds. We don't get none of the business. All new technology is tested on Black hip hop music first.
Yep.
Like, I don't care. NFTs, they did not ask Justin Bieber to
T-Pain's
do an
voice.
NFT. They did not ask the Rolling Stones to create their catalog in an NFT. When the Rolling Stones fan base have the money to pay for it, but you want to convince a young hip hop artist to turn their music into NFT so it can be used with blockchain technology. And we're struggling to get a slice of a penny from Spotify now.
Yep.
So all new technology in entertainment is always tested on Black rappers first. They make it cool. They make it trendy. They make it go viral. And we're only focused on the surface level of it.
Yes.
To where behind the scenes, Clubhouse cashed out on Black people and Black
We're in
content
there.
creators, creatives, executives. Like, you never heard Elton John on Clubhouse talking. So why do we hear Nicki Minaj? Like, why do we have to do these things? So I think for me, because I'm not a tech person, I'm not nowhere near half the y'all blow the shit out the, water.
the stuff
Yeah,
that we're
all
like,
of those things.
in my daytime.
Right, yeah. I'm building rockets on my lunch break.
I heard something about a rocket. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
So for me and for so many executives in the music industry like me, we always get the tail end of it. We always get to, okay, here's the, like I say, here's the jewelry. Here's how you, I think the worst thing that ever happened was Timbaland partnering with Sonos.
Yeah.
I think that was horrible. And it's not that I don't like the AI. It's not that I don't think it's helpful, but, and this is just my rant, I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, no.
But they use that, they're using it to push Black creatives out the way. So when Timbaland, who's one of 3 or 4 Black producers at the top of the food chain, co-signs, stamps it, has equity in this, you just pushed out every other Black creative. You know how many millions of super dope, talented creatives and producers and songwriters are underneath Timbaland? Yeah, like underneath Timbaland, you got to think about guys who are selling millions of records, but they're still not Timbaland. But now you're even pushing them out the way. So the kid in his basement hoping to get his big break, you just pushed him out the way.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
like, it's being used to push Black creators out.
Yeah, I'm going to hand it to Doug, but to add to that, at the same time, it's one of those things that we see that across all industries, right? We could even go with Uncle Nearest, and this is no slight to anybody, but this is a reality when we're, again, I'm going to go to conscious consuming every time. But Uncle Nearest has a brand, and what was it? Beyonce and yeah, they both signed with white-owned companies. P. Diddy's done it. Ciroc is trash. Hennessy is trash. Patron is trash. And you'll see it in all of our Black bars. Top shelf, sold for X amounts of dollars. And it's not even like when you look at the index of vodkas, rums, like in that world, they're at the bottom. They don't even go to like the bottom liquor stores in other countries. And that is being propagandized and then sold to us. And that conscious consumer, I can't get it into our heads enough because we're not really going without if we're going for something that's not even going back to us. So.
Yeah. So I want to there were a couple of points that were made that are key. One of the best things that I've read in the last 10 years is the Nielsen report that talked about Black people being the trendsetters. Mm-hmm. Find that, read it, you're going to be shocked. Well, you're not going to be shocked, y'all know. But the reality is that we run the way that people consume culture. We don't run this thing, but we run the way that people consume culture. And the reason why we don't run this thing is because we don't leverage the opportunities that we have with technology and all these other things.
But how do we leverage it?
Really starting to dig into this shit. I have no better way to say it than really getting into understanding how you can leverage AI to build your business strategy, to do all those things that you scale. Because the biggest problem that we see is that when I send my founders to somebody who has the money that they want to give, sometimes they are not as educated as the rest of these other folk from other backgrounds, specifically white people. Because what's going on is, as the information is being passed, a lot of us have not taken it quite as seriously. This is just me from a social science standpoint. We work in several accelerators here in the Houston area, and most of the time when I ask people, these people with really successful businesses, how you leveraging AI to help you with your statistics, helping you understand where your break-even point is. All of the what's your TAM, your SAM, all of the things that you're supposed to talk about when you're trying to get investment, which hopefully people are going to be talking about in the pitch competition later on tonight. Shameless plug yet again. But like, we don't know. Shout out to Darrell. We did an AI. We did an AI seminar about how to leverage it for business. And we had 36 brothers and sisters in the room. They all were sitting there glossy-eyed.
But because I think this is our opportunity to be educated. I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur, and I am the first generation of entrepreneur that is able to provide education and share that versus just keeping your head down, flying under the radar, doing the work and getting the shit done for your family. So I think that when we're having these conversations, being very mindful about how we frame it, because it's not that we don't take it seriously, because I see serious faces in here. I think it's more about the fact that now we're having the opportunity to, because everybody in this room is probably the first generation of person that is able to pass the knowledge on. Because even my uncle, he has Harmon's Barbecue in Cibolo, Texas. He's had it for 15 plus years now. And he's still multi-million-dollar earner, but still has some foundational business stuff that is not there.
Right.
So I think that when we're talking about this, the doom and gloom of it is there, but there's so much more to that conversation.
Absolutely. There's a lot more opportunity, and I probably could have shifted my words a little bit better to really talk about it. It's more so not that we just don't get it, is that the opportunity is there. And there's also, when you look at, and this is my research nerd hat coming on, there's a lot of other things that happen to Black entrepreneurs in general that actually dissuade us from being able to do everything that some of these other entrepreneurs can do, because we have barriers to entry that we already have to work on. And so one of the things that we have to continue to do is try to find opportunity to dig into some of the other resources that are difficult for us to reach, because we're just worried about trying to get funding, and we can't get bank loans because only 3% of us get bank loans, because it is about race.
That's if you cluster us male and female.
Yes.
It goes.
It is. Oh, and it's real ugly.
It be dipping down
women.
low with Megan knees.
But,
all right, Luke, what you got?
Nah, so I kind of want to touch on everything that everyone's said so far, because it's really important. And as a project manager, you know, our goal is to manage projects, make sure everything goes. And what I'm hearing from what everybody's saying is that, and I think everybody knows this, is that our community has a communication bottleneck.
yes.
Right? And so you have issues. Thank you. You have folks that have the money, but they're not talking to folks that have the businesses in a way that flows properly, right? It almost feels like only a certain few bubble up, right? Or really, if you know somebody, right? Which I think is problematic. But same thing what you were saying when it comes to all the opportunities that exist outside of this country and especially in Africa, right? There's a bottleneck there. Because me personally, I'm talking to people in Nigeria, I'm talking to people in South Africa, I'm talking to people in Kenya and Rwanda, and understanding certain things.
They had a whole African summit here like 2-3 months ago. It was phenomenal. And everybody on stage got up and was like, we're open and ready to do business with y'all. Like every single person. Right.
And so I think there's a bottleneck there, because you know, one of our lead producers and editors, he's in Nigeria. Right? One of our engineers is in Nigeria, right? In terms of developer. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities to just connect with the continent and just the diaspora in general. Again, bottleneck there. And when you're talking about creators, I think there's also a bottleneck there too, because a lot of creators, especially in the audiobook side, you have people that want to narrate, but they may not know how to even get started because they don't know nobody in the industry. You might have people that want to do narration, but they don't understand the contractual part of the business and how not to get, taken advantage of. And then from a business owner standpoint, us as we need to be also responsible for making sure we're taking care of our people, You know what I mean? We can't also fall into the same bad habits in trying to scale, but taking advantage of our people. You feel what I'm saying? So I think there's an accountability that has to be on all frameworks and all aspects of our community. And I think the communication flow is probably the biggest issue that I'm seeing. So I'll stop there.
Ooh, man, so many good things said. All right, ooh, my head, my brain's spinning. One thing that came to mind as I was hearing everybody speak is there's a American bias to the way we look at business. I've traveled Africa, Asia, all the places, and I think one thing that has stood out to me most when leaving the country is how much we're accepted in other places. I don't even think, I tell people all the time, my favorite country is Japan. There you go. So one of the biggest reasons why my favorite country is Japan is because how much they embrace our culture without how can I say it? Watering it down. You know what I'm saying? It's a respectful, it's a very respectful relationship with like Black culture. And when I think about that, and I think about this whole AI thing, right? In my head, I'm like, okay, a lot of the ways that we're talking about business and AI and how it works is with this American capitalist mindset. And I think in order for us to really kind of break through those shackles, right, of this mindset is that highly advised, like, go to Africa, go to Japan, go to other places and understand how they're doing business and also see what kind of Black businesses are being stood up in these other places. Quiet is kept. There's a lot of Black businesses in Japan and in places like China. These people are already doing business with Africa. They shut, after the terrorist situation happened, Asia and these other countries, they're going to places like Africa for their resources. They're not necessarily coming to America anymore. So we also need to pay attention to the tea leaves of how the money is about to start moving as well. Because what we may have seen over the last 20, 30 years may not be what we see in the next 20 to 30 years. So, even with all of this AI conversation and watering down and stuff like that, to your point, they're not... Black people are Black people. Like, we not going nowhere. Even if they go and take our culture and make it digital blackface, at the end of the day, we always evolve. That is just historically a fact. We will always evolve. We will always find a way to survive. That's just the game, right? And so I think one thing that we can all do better is like get a better understanding of macroeconomics, right? How do economics work on a global scale and start looking at opportunities outside of even America for if our business makes sense, because it may actually be cheaper for you to get your business off in another country than it is here. You know what I'm saying? You might actually be able to build better relationships with a bank in another country than you would here. You know what I'm saying? But if we kind of continue to say, okay, we're going to keep knocking on this door and they never open it, right? At what point do you go and knock on another door? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's also the beauty of the AI. I mean, they even got I got the new AirPods. They got the live translation where you could just listen to people. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to use it. I can't. Can you plug mine in?
Yeah. But it's just, but with tools like that, right? Like these are the doors that AI is opening for us. So now we can go to other countries and we can transact and we can have conversations with these people and we can build relationships, because more often than not, a lot of times, they're willing to accept us because they see the plight that we go through here. And they also understand the value that we have. So I think that's another thing that I think we should all entertain is like, what does business look like outside of America?
Yeah. So this is my new team as I go into the audio spaces and everything. So I'm so excited about it. We had a really good and complex question. So that's why you saw that note card going back and forth. And it's kind of queued up. So I'm going to give this soft question and then we can dive into this one. But how can creators protect ownership in their likeness? And then the question is around leveraging AI, conscious consumption, possibly licensing, data rights, all of those kind of things. So we're going to kick it here, and then we'll go back this way. And then after that, we'll just give some final thoughts. So go ahead.
Right. I think, honestly, with AI still being, which is crazy, it's still so new, but it's gotten so freaking far already. The rules are being written as we speak, right? So it's kind of like the Wild Wild West, in my opinion. And so have a lawyer, That helps.
What kind of lawyer?
Trademark lawyer, digital rights lawyer, business entertainment lawyer, someone who has experience in that sector, right? Or some idea, right? That part. Having a lawyer will help. However, because we may not have the bread, AI can help. You can prompt something in ChatGPT to get a basic construct or framing, a framework of what you might want to kind of protect. Like I said, with IP, you can create a framework using ChatGPT or one of these other AI models to kind of get an idea or starting point of how do I go about protecting this, right? And once you get some type of framework and starting point, then you go to your lawyer. You go to the lawyer.
Less billable hours.
Yeah.
That was one of the themes on one of the panels yesterday about angel investing in VC. They were like, get a lawyer friend and get a bookkeeping friend and keep those as friends.
Yeah, no, for sure. Accounting is so important because I hate it. So getting yourself a lawyer, using the AI to be a framework, but also, for me at least, leveraging AI to really do some deep research into certain businesses, right? Because we're talking about conscious consuming. I think that also goes in part with, who you're partnering with, right? Because one thing I'm noticing, and I'm using this from my own experience, right? There were certain companies that wanted to partner with us, but in my integrity wouldn't allow me to, right? My character wouldn't let me do it because I see what you're doing, I know what you're trying to do, and I'm not with it. You know what I mean? And I'm not going for it. And so I think as we do this conscious consuming, also doing some conscious partnering and who we're partnering with, is this person actually going to care about what we're doing? Or are they leveraging you in your ideas and your blackness and all this to take from you, exploit you, and then kick you to the curb so they can, you get what I'm saying? So I think all that is take place and takes a part with this conversation.
Man, I think the biggest thing that we all can do is what we're doing right now, which is getting out the house and actually meeting real people. I think when we talk about likeness and ownership, I had a conversation with a hiring manager. I don't know if they were Google or Netflix or whatever. And they were talking about like, yo, like you let me know, I'll get your name to the top of the list or you know, whatever it is.
Networking.
Right? Like, and the game is that all of these filtering systems, whether it's a loan application or a hiring or you trying to get a job or whatever, it's all going through AI now. It's all of it is going, feel how you want to feel about it. It's all going through AI. It just is what it is. And the best way to shortcut that is to actually have a relationship with the person behind the machine. Like that is the game. And so I think as we move forward with this AI thing, I think in-person interactions are going to become extremely more valuable. I think it's gonna go back to almost how it was back in the day because I can't trust what I see on the internet anymore. You know what I'm saying? I just can't trust it. So at this point, like if I ain't met you, if I ain't touched you, if I don't know you're a real person, I'm not gonna give you the opportunity.
It's so wild. I saw a preview for Columbiana, like a second one or a third, and I was really into it. And they were like, "That's not real." I was like,
"Yeah,
it's very convincing.
It's very deceiving." With Sora coming out and all of these things, that's just the reality of the situation. So I think continuing to get out, but I think more than anything, being intentional about the spaces that you go into. Right? Don't just go into any space. Right? Go into the space where you're trying to build the connection or you're trying to build the relationship. I think that's going to be imperative, as well as just also understanding like what is it that you want to get out of your interactions as well, right? And being intentional with the ask, right? I think a lot of times we go out and we just kind of mindlessly wandering, right? Hoping we meet the right person, but we don't even know who the right person is that we're trying to meet, right?
And or you're trying to hit the whole room.
Yeah, you're just talking to 100 people and then you don't end up with nothing at the end of the night, right? Like, it's just like, whatever. And I think, when we talk about the likeness and the ownership and stuff like that, the most important person that you can own is clearly yourself. And the way you can do that is by getting out, being intentional about the spaces that you go into and getting back in front of people. Like, we have to get back in front of people because however you cook it, whatever it is, like, the game is that I got to get past the computer. I got to get past the computer. I got to get past the algorithm. I got to get past the whatever. So if this loan officer like to go hang out at this place, at this bar, whatever, then I'm about to go pull up and I'm about to go buy them a drink and we about to have a conversation. That's just the game again. Like you're not about to slide in the DMs and doing all of that kind of stuff. You can't do that no more because guess what? You got 1,000 DMs. Hey, everybody got 1,000 DMs. I don't know if this a bot. I don't know if this a person. What do you want? Blah, 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 blah. And so the best way to skip all of that, get out, be intentional about the people you want to connect with, know what you're looking for. I think that's going to be the best way moving forward.
Yeah, I love that you say that because I know that 9 times out of 10, somebody will slide in the DMs, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's getting horrible. Horrible. But if somebody I have met or know is like, meet this person, then it's a done deal. And most of y'all know me in here and I'll be like, you, bye. And that's good enough because in this digital age, the dry introduction over email or like you said, those algorithms. One of my mentors said that if you're looking for a job, remove your face off of LinkedIn so that the algorithm doesn't stop you. And that's where we're at. Derek, what you got?
That was a phenomenal question that was asked. And the greatest answer I could give you is get a phenomenal attorney, get a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason why I say that because my favorite thing I tell people that today's world is we are in the wild, wild west. I use that probably once a day. And we can all look at it from different perspectives that have came from our backgrounds and our day-to-day walks in life and give you a bunch of different answers. Get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer that understands your industry and is also savvy enough to be up on what's happening with AI. That would be the best advice I would ever give you.
Yeah, I lawyer friend. The only anecdote that I wanted to add on to the end of this is so for those who are playing with stuff for like voice acting and music and stuff like that. So if you want to end up being like the 1924 Project, Hyperbolic Club, some of those that are out there, make sure that you know what the sources are for real, because you can't be out here using Beyonce's voice and lining it up with all the other voices so that you get your algorithm together. So AI, when you're building sounds, it works just like you do when you're building reports. So like you throw a whole bunch of reports in, it's going to learn how to do that. It's going to give you what you need. So when you throw a whole bunch of sounds in, voices, things of that nature, you can't throw Morgan Freeman's voice in and the Allstate man to make sure you have the best voiceover guy. Like you just can't do that. And so you have to have people that will allow you to use their likeness or yours alone, and you have to make sure that you have all your stuff together, which brings you back to the key point that all 4 of us have said, lawyer time. So just go ahead and get that lawyer.
You want some?
It's to an earlier point that I want to make sure that I don't forget because I'm old now. It's back to the conversation you said about the Nielsen ratings thing.
Yes.
Please go look that up.
Like, for real.
So I have a friend that works for Nielsen, and she told me that there's a period of time, well, right now and over the past 10, 15 years, the Black woman has been the absolute most influential, dominant person for no matter what you're trying to sell.
Yep.
The hard part is Black women are being weaponized against Black women.
That's another, yeah.
But then also when you look at some of the biggest TV shows that have happened in the past few years, Black woman, white man.
Yep.
If you look at your Cheerios commercials, Black wife, white husband. Tide commercials, Black wife, white husband. Chevrolet commercials. It's not a kumbaya moment. It's not, we're embracing all. No, this is to sell more product because you have the power. You make their households feel cool. So do not, and I know this is going to sound cliche, but don't take being a Black woman lightly. Don't understand your powers go far beyond what's happening in the hair salons, the nail shops, and TikTok. Your power is influencing their households. Your power is influencing their companies. Your power is influencing their ad dollars. So be very mindful of that conscious consumption, who you spend your money with, who you make cool, who you talk about, who you post, who you validate, who you share, because based on Nielsen sound scans for music and Nielsen ratings for television, advertising, film, and all of that stuff, you are the target. You control the spending in this country.
This portion of the panel has been brought to you by LaRae Infinity Media, and it is called Love on a Black Woman. So next up, we have Luke. Go ahead.
I love it. I just wanted to add to it because I actually have a very direct experience with this. So in the Nielsen data, it shows that Black women typically consume 60-some% of Black women consume or will prefer to consume businesses that are, or products that are made by Black folks. And a strategic partnership that I was looking to establish with Penguin Random House before they try to do like a hostile takeover type shit. We were having that conversation, and it almost felt like that was the first time they realized, because in the publishing in space, historically, they've never really targeted us, obviously, right? And I think in terms of audiobooks, the listening dropped from, I think in 2015 or 16, it was 18% of us was listening to audiobooks, but then it dropped to like 13%, right? And that's, again, they're not marketing it to us. And during this conversation I was having with this VP at Penguin Random House, it was as if that was the first time they realized, like, oh, Black people do consume certain things. And obviously, partnership didn't happen. But I noticed that after the fact, a lot of their marketing and a lot of their targeting was towards Black women. Yeah. I was like, isn't that interesting? So what he's saying is absolutely correct. Black women really run a lot of these industries. They are, Black people in general are trendsetters, but Black women in particular, y'all set trends in ways that they don't even understand yet. They're just now catching up in a lot of these legacy, what I consider legacy industries like publishing, right? And so I would say to leverage that power responsibly, right? And not allow them to utilize it against us as a community, because that's one thing that I have been noticing when it comes to some of that is they're finding ways to exploit Black women and focus on Black women to leverage that to continue to get the value that they've been trying to receive. And I would say, adding just another caveat is, as Black men, we need to step our game up. We definitely need to step our game up. And because there's a tremendous amount of opportunity that they're completely not seeing, because we're almost invisible at this point from what I'm noticing. They're not even looking at Black men anymore because they see all the value or assume all the values with Black women. But as Black men, as we step up, as we build our own communities, right? Because Black women, y'all be killing that shit. We know that.
That space is here, baby.
Boy, look, I see that. But as we as Black men get into our rightful position and do what the hell we supposed to do, I don't think the exploitation that we're seeing, if we do things right and we collaborate with our sisters, I don't think we'll see what we see today. And I think there's a tremendous amount of power that we are missing out on because we are so, at least for men, we're not unified, right? And I think that's something to speak on. But
Reginald,
I had a clarifying question.
Yeah, when you come into this, we are going to close out the panel. Okay. They are all staying around after, but I am going to respect the time of the stage. So when you close that out, also tell people what else you have going on during this Afrotech week and how people can find you.
Oh, absolutely. Cool. It was really just a clarifying question in regards to, like, what do you mean when you say Black men need to step up? In what way?
In every space that I've been in, specifically in the publishing space, I see more Black women than men. And that's literally every space that I've gone to. Even here, it's more women than men. And I don't think I don't know what the issue is, but it doesn't seem like we're in these spaces. And it also doesn't seem, because another thing I've noticed is Black women, they know how to create community, clearly, right? They know how to engage. They know how to network, talk to each other. Like, they lit. We, for whatever reason, and this is just a man thing, I think, in general, we don't have the same thing. We're not building communities in the same way. We're not having the same flow of communication. A lot of us are in silos, right? Doing things alone. And again, I think that's a man thing. And that's not beneficial to us, and it's very detrimental to us. And in my opinion, a lot of the work and burden is on the Black women, and we need to take some of that off, in my opinion. That's it.
Okay, so just where we can find y'all, what y'all got going on this week. And again, this is like an ongoing conversation. I'm so glad that y'all agreed to my email, and I appreciate y'all. So again, this is TUS House. There's Afrotech going on this week. All of these gentlemen are local, and they all are running businesses, and they are all doing things this week. So talk about what you're doing, and then where people can find you.
You can find me at Abantu Audio throughout all social media. ABANTU Audio, AUDIO. That's at Abantu Audio, and that's on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. And I'm gonna just be moving around these tech spaces, honestly, because I'm still trying to get this app out. So that's my primary concern. But I'm an open book. So if there's any questions, anything that you want to talk about, collaborations, I'm open for it.
All right, let me get it out before I start coughing. Yeah, so you can find us at techfortheculture.com. You can learn more about us there. You can go on Instagram and follow us at techculturetx. That's where we do our main communication. And we have an event later on this evening, I think from like 7 to 10 over there at Live. You can find us on Posh if you all would like to go. So if y'all want to pull up. But if not, we always throwing events. Like I said, follow us on Instagram, techculturetx, and we would love to see you at a future event. So
you can find us on Instagram at Deck Launch or at Fresh Tech Solutions. But we in the house today, here at the US space. Till 4:00. We'll also be staying through the pitch competition because that's what we love. Again, get that Nielsen report. But we're happy to be here. Really easy to find. We'll be here bouncing around through other shared spaces through the rest of the week as well.
I can be found on social media, official Loud, for our record company. The website is Loud Music, LOUDMUZ as in zebra, IK.com. And me personally is Derrick, DERRICKMC. This week, Saturday, we have our 5th annual music festival called Loud Fest. 50 indie artists, 2 stages, 20 media outlets, social media activations, food trucks, vendors, Mechanical Bull, all kinds of cool stuff. On the website, tickets are free before 2 p.m. And then, like I think is max ticket price is $10. It's priced so our people can come out and enjoy our music, and have a good time. And that's what I have the rest of this week.
And he invited the US space, y'all. So don't worry.
Yes.
We'll send out the email with the
You're
tickets. We got you. All right. Thank you. This was amazing. Make sure you follow all these people. Follow the US space. Tag us. Stick around and have a good morning. Thank you.